We're now a week and a half past the summer solstice, but sunrise and sunset times are changing so slowly that practically speaking, we're still at the time of year when nights are shortest. And when you take into account twilight, which is more complicated than you might think, those nights become much shorter. Now I'll use central Pennsylvania, specifically State College, to illustrate. Now on the first day of summer, the official sunrise and set times are 5:40 and 8:46, giving 15 hours and 6 minutes of daylight. But what if we take into account twilight, of which there are three widely accepted types: civil, nautical, and astronomical, each defined based on how far the center of the sun is below the horizon. Now during civil twilight, the sun is between the horizon and 6 degrees below. If weather conditions are good, there's enough natural light for outdoor activities and for objects to be clearly distinguished. The brightest stars and planets are visible. A good example is Venus, known as the morning star or evening star, because it's easy to see during civil twilight. Now on the summer solstice in State College, civil twilight times were 5:07 a.m. and 9:20 p.m., adding more than a half hour to the start and end of the day when you could see what you were doing outside. Then there's nautical twilight, when the center of the sun is between 6 and 12 degrees below the horizon. During nautical twilight, the horizon is still clearly visible, so sailors can use it for reference to navigate using the stars, thus the name. Though the general outlines of objects can be distinguished during nautical twilight, artificial lighting is needed to see things clearly, even when the weather is good. Now on the summer solstice in central Pennsylvania, nautical dawn was 4:24 and nautical dusk was 10:03, adding 40 more minutes on either side of sunrise and sunset and increasing the length of daylight to almost 17 2/3 hours. And finally, there's astronomical twilight, defined as when the sun is between 12 and 18 degrees below the horizon. Most casual observers would say the whole sky is dark during astronomical twilight, but astronomers still can't properly observe faint and diffuse objects such as nebula and galaxies. Once the sun is more than 18 degrees below the horizon, only then is the sky dark enough for astronomers to do all their work, barring any light pollution, of course. In central Pennsylvania on the summer solstice, astronomical dawn and dusk were 3:33 a.m. and 10:53 p.m., respectively. So astronomers had less than 5 hours to do all their work. Now, as I mentioned at the start, sunrise and sunset times change very slowly near the solstice. Right now, we're losing only about 5 minutes of daylight per week. But a month from now, that will have grown to almost 15 minutes per week. Paul Knight is back next with the extended forecast.